Hello and welcome to Beyond the Lights, Football Across Texas, where we're talking football in towns with head coaches across the state. I'm your host, Brandon Brown, retired football coach and AD, and I'm glad you could join us today at this week's stop in the Lone Star State as we meet one more coach and one more town that make up the world of Texas high school football.
Favorite run play, I like ISO.
Power. You got to run the power.
Run the picket fence.
So I was hung up in the crow's nest.
My grandfather was the first African-American running back to be All-State.
I was 19 right about the time and went to a church revival and got saved. And that path changed my life.
No detail, which is finding joy or happiness in others' success.
Now, I got a funny story on this.
Coach, this guy's eyes popped out of socket.
Oh, those guys grew up on beans and cornbread. You know, I grew up on McDonald's and bologna sandwiches, a little better deal.
Yeah.
I like to play the flute, Dad.
It ain't all right either. If you're editing, but go ahead.
It's how well you can get your Jimmies and Joes to do the X's and O's.
So if I tell you too much more, I have to kill you?
Okay, a couple quick comments before we get started here today. Remember, if you need a job posted, I do have that new job board on the website, footballacrosstexas.com. Click on job board. Just trying to make something that might be easy to get something out there if you want a little extra exposure for any jobs you have posted. And if you know of any coach-owned businesses that are directly owned by a current or former coach or their spouse, send me their info and I'll put them on our website business pages just to try to help promote coaches and what we do. Shout out to my sister-in-law, Wendy Brown, because she is the wife of a former coach, Heath Brown, my brother. And anyway, she has a credit card processing company called Card Diva. If you're in need of credit card processing services for your business, or if you're just tired of paying high processing fees, you can give Wendy a call. She has amazing customer service because you deal directly with her when you need help, so you don't have to wait on hold or call some 1-800 number. Has almost 20 years of experience and has thousands of happy customers ranging from huge businesses and stuff like Reed Jewelers up in Fort Worth to small ones like my home inspection business. So she can take care of any size deal and save you a lot of money. So give her a call if you are in need of any kind of change of your credit card processing or you just need it for the first time. Her number is 817-233-1706. That's Wendy Brown with Card Diva. Now, if you're going to coaching school, make sure and come look me up. I'm going to have a booth with Randy Jackson where he's promoting his OVR and OVR 99 and that stuff. I'll have a booth with him, but I also have a booth. Any of you older coaches may remember back in the 90s when I first started coaching, we used to have a Christian sports T-shirt business that we sold at coaching school every year. And we met a lot of coaches and made some good friends that way. And anyway, when I became an AD, I didn't have time to do it anymore, or I didn't make the time. I probably should have. But anyway, my daughter wanted to start it back up. So my wife and daughter are going to have the Christian sports T-shirts at coaching school again this year. So if you're going down to coaching school, come find us. It'll be under Football Across Texas. Anyway, that's what I put it under, but it's the old One for Him T-shirts that I used to sell in the 90s at coaching school. So come see us if you get a chance to come down there. All right, let's get to the show. All right, hello and welcome to episode 76. I'm in Waco today at Vega High School with head football coach and assistant athletic director Don Hyde. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Well, I appreciate you having me in. I know starting to get close to that busy time of year. I see, like you said, you're unpacking coaches' clothes and everything else back there, so we're fixing to it won't be long, you'll be rolling.
Well, we're excited. You know, we got a good group coming back, and just a chance to get out here and do what we love as coaches, and the kids love to play football, and so we're excited. This time of year is you get a little rest along the way, and so we're extremely excited and rip roaring and ready to go.
So what do you think about the new district?
You know, most of those guys we played for a long period of time, with the exception of Salado. I don't think we've ever played Salado, to be honest with you. We played Brownwood for a number of years now, probably dating back to 2007. Of course, Gatesville and Robinson and Conley and I just went blank. Gatesville, Robinson, Conley, and well, that's it. Gatesville, Robinson, Conley. No, there's one more.
Gatesville, Robinson, Conley, Brownwood. Salado.
Yeah. So those guys we played for a number of years. You know, we spent a long time in Division I and got away from Gatesville. We played them in non-district several years, but we got away from Robinson and Conley for a little while. We always played Conley in non-district. We played Brownwood, like I said, for a long period of time. So it's going to be extremely competitive. Really good athletes. Brownwood, Coach Brixby's done a heck of a job up there.
Yeah.
Getting those guys back into form, and so it's going to be highly competitive. Coach Beatty does a fabulous job in Salado, and so it's going to be a highly competitive district. And at the end of the day, you got to bring your best every Friday night, or you're going to get beat.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, I've known Coach Brixey out there for a long time, from back when he was at Comanche.
Yeah,
and I actually went and interviewed him either early this year or last year, just to go see an old friend and have a good talk. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He is. Well, we always get started kind of the same way. Just you telling us a little about yourself, what's your background, where you grew up, and what brought you to where you are today.
I'm from Waco, Texas, a little town outside of Waco, Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
Went K through 12 at Robinson High School. Graduated there in 1989. My parents lived there most of their life. My father recently passed away, so he's no longer living out there. But been married for 20. I hate to say this because she's probably may listen to this, but I've been married for 21 years to my second wife. My daughter's 29 years old. My son is 27 years old. They're both recently married. Got a new grandson.
Congratulations.
We've lived in Gatesville since 2001, I guess. Very blessed with a great family that understands coaching. Very blessed with a great coach's wife. She's been a blessing to me and a blessing to our program, and I couldn't do it without her.
Yeah, no, I guess nobody can do it without that strong,
you can't do it by yourself.
strong wife there.
She's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, and I thought that was interesting. You said you lived at Gatesville, because I had a lot of ties back to Gatesville in the time and eating at the feed mill and stuff. And you said you've been there the whole time, so you have a little bit of a commute.
Yes, I drive. My wife's a high school librarian here too. She drives separately, so we bring two cars, 47 miles round trip, 47 miles one way, 94 miles round trip every day that exists.
Do you find that's a little cool down kind of too after a long day and hard day? You kind of get a little quiet time on the way home?
I think it bothers her a little bit to drive back and forth. For me, it's refreshing. I leave probably 5 o'clock in the morning to head this way, and there's no traffic. And usually I'm going home when there's no traffic at the same time. So sun getting your eye every once in a while, but other than that, it's really relaxing for me and gives me time to decompress, and probably been good for our marriage.
Yeah, that's always good. And I guess that would be, you're leaving early enough you don't have to worry about it, and probably late enough, but she'd be leaving driving into the sun rising in the east and heading home when it's setting in the west, so that could be a little hard.
She's really happy about that, I can promise you.
Well, she's made it this long with it, I guess.
She really loves it here just like I do, so it's been a great place for us.
Well, tell me this kind of while we're still on before we get to the main topic. How tough is it mentally going in year after year with the high expectations of being extremely good?
You know, we don't really worry about what the expectation is outside this building. I believe if you hire good people who are committed to the process, committed to what you want to get accomplished, that they put enough expectation on themselves that we don't have to worry about the outside expectation. As the head coach, my expectation is always the same: be playing late in December, and hopefully have a chance to win it all when it's all said and done. And I'm lucky enough to have guys around me that have the same expectation. But, expectations are good. Expectations mean you've done something right along the way. Yeah. And so we're extremely blessed by kids who love to play the game of football, who do everything we ask of them, who expect the same things we expect, and that's to be successful. And so not only successful on the field, but successful in life. And so, if you have those expectations for yourself and you set the bar high and you force people to rise to that bar, you can always be successful.
No, that's good. What is it hard? Because I know that if you have that consistent level of success, sometimes kids come up under it just thinking, well, it's just going to happen. That's just who we are.
I think you have to battle complacency. You know, I mean, that's one thing that can sneak in on you. But at the same time, it's always a different set of kids. And so what I preach all the time is, just like I preached the other day to these kids, this team has done nothing. I don't care what we did last year. That's a whole different team. This team that we have right now, you've done nothing, guys. What are you going to do to leave the legacy behind that these other guys have left for you? And so, as a senior class, they haven't really done nothing. They've had success in the football field, but that was with different teams and different classifications of students. And so, what's your mark going to be? What are you willing to accept and what are you willing to not accept? And when you get kids who have certain expectations, who have a certain standard they want to live up to, and they don't allow younger generations to fall below that standard, you can be great. And so that's what we preach on a daily basis. Once again, though, the 2026 Vega Pirates have not won a game to date. I don't care what happened in 2025. That's history. That doesn't count. The only thing that counts is what you're going to do starting August the 3rd moving forward.
I got you. Now, do you have multiple middle schools that feed into here? We're just one.
One.
Okay, now y'all have a pretty good hand over everything that goes on there, I'm guessing.
Well, we don't get to spend enough time with them because their athletic period's the same time as ours is at the high school. We are able to get down there before school in first period to work with the incoming seventh grade. And I've got several high school coaches that teach on the junior high campus that are also in that first period athletic period. So we're hoping by the time they get out of seventh grade that they have a basic understanding of what we expect for La Vega football, and so we can turn that eighth grade that has the same athletic period as our varsity over to those 4 junior high coaches. And I got 4 great junior high coaches that do a fabulous job down there. And so it's just a process that starts in the 6th grade with advanced PE that we have down there that I've got several coaches in. That we begin the process in 6th grade of getting them stronger, mentally tougher, physically tougher, and then it just proceeds up to the time they get here with us.
So you have kind of a pre-athletic period.
We
for
have a
6th
pre-athletic period, yes, at the 6th grade, and we have a full weight room down there at the 6th grade. It's a totally separate campus than our junior high. So we have an old, basically a PE gym down there, and my principal down there bought me $20,000 worth of weight equipment to put in there, and we start lifting them when they're in 6th grade.
Oh, that's good.
It's really good.
All right, well, let's get to the main topic of personnel.
Okay.
So first, what do you do and how do you get coaches into here? Do you have a lot of turnover, guys moving up, being from a successful program that you've got to kind of replenish the stock?
We don't have a lot of turnover, to be honest with you. When we do, we try to move people up. We're big on hiring people we know so that we know what type of person we're getting. And then you treat them well. And then, football's totally transformed itself from when I got in it in 1993 that, a lot of coaches, in my opinion, spend a whole lot of time at the field house when they don't have to spend a whole lot of time at the field house. And so we're going to get in here, get our work done, and then I'm going to trust my guys to go home and watch film on their own before we meet again the next day. And so, I believe, I've got a shirt on right now that says family on it. I believe family is the most important aspect of any program. And that doesn't just incorporate the family that we have with our kids up here. That incorporates your personal family at home. I tell our guys all the time, if you're not happy at home and your wife's not happy with you, I'm not going to get very much of you. You got something else in your mind the whole time. And so our job is to be a family and take care of one another. And me, as the leader of this program, I have to care as much about your personal family as I do my personal family in order for us to be successful. I think my guys know that. My guys know on the weekend that if your kid's got a flag football game or a tackle football game, you don't have to ask me if you can go. Go. I want you to be there and be a part of your kid's life as they grow up, and we can figure out the rest of it after the fact. And so there's not a whole lot of places like that anymore. I don't want my guys to feel like they can't ask me to do something. I want them to do it. I want them to be there to be the father for their kids and be the husband for their wife that they need to be. Those wife and kids spend enough time on their own. They've got to be there and be present in their lives for us to be successful up here and for them to be happy coaching for them.
And I think that's real important too, because I know, I've met a lot of coaches who say, hey, you leave your personal stuff at home. It's not that easy.
It's impossible.
I know when my wife and I have had a tough time or this or that, it's hard for me to focus,
it's
because I want to get that priority settled and get everything straight and get it back on a good note. So the fact that you're already telling your coaches, hey, you've got to get that taken care of so you will be happy up here. That's I like that way of looking at it.
To me, that's the most important priority you have is your family. For me to think that you should put your family in front of football is not very good. I wouldn't be a very good human being if I thought like that. And so while football is what we do for a living and football is what we get paid extra for outside of the regular school day, it's not the most important thing in your life. It can't be. If it's the most important thing in your life, you're probably struggling elsewhere. And when you struggle elsewhere, it bleeds over into what we're doing here. And so I'm always going to be a big proponent of that. My wife and kids are my most important thing in my life outside of my relationship with God. And if something happens to my family, and I'm out there in the middle of the football field when we're practicing, I'm leaving. I'm going to take care of my priority.
Yeah.
And by saying that, I've got good enough people around me that I can't do that. We've got good enough people up here in our program that if somebody's got to get out of here for a personal reason, we can take up the slack. We can make it work the way we need it to work, and that's derived from our superintendent. She believes the same way. She's the most incredible superintendent I've ever worked for in my life, and she thinks athletics is a priority, and she treats it like a priority. But she also thinks each one of us is a priority to her, and she takes care of us.
Has she been here a long time?
She's been here the whole time I've been here.
Oh, golly.
She's been here. She was the assistant superintendent when I first got here, and she took over as a superintendent around 2000, probably 16, and I've been here ever since.
That's amazing because, you know, you've been here that long. She's been here that long. This must be a pretty good place to be.
It's a great place to be. You know, Coach Williams, my boss, who's still the athletic director, it's the only place he ever worked. He went to high school here, came back, coached here. He's never left. And he's still here today, and I think probably 42, 43 years.
So you must have pretty good kids, pretty good community support.
We do. We have great kids. We have good community support. They let us do our job, and we do it the best we can.
That's awesome. See, I never knew much about La Vega because I've never coached at this level in this area where we would have crossed paths in playing or anything else.
Sure.
So it's kind of good to learn something about it. I used to pass through it all the time when I'd hit the loop and head to College Station from Fort Worth. But
you know, we're very blessed here. I've probably got 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 people that I coached in high school at La Vega that now coach here and work for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Coming home and giving back to the community that they brought them up. Huh?
And guys that could go off and get a job elsewhere that are really good coaches, but choose to stay here and make a difference in kids' lives.
Well, and you got these amazing facilities coming along. The weight room right here is awesome. You got the covered field you're talking about coming up. You got the new press box. So you got all kinds of things. It's just a lot of positive things going on then.
Once again, that shows the commitment our administration and school board have to athletics and how valuable they feel for it to be the student population.
Oh, that's awesome. That is good. Coaches, if you haven't checked out Spiral XO yet, make sure and give them a look soon. Go to spiralxo.com and watch the demo or set up a 30-minute demo, and they can walk you through everything. This is the best overall program I've ever seen to manage everything for your season, from player and parent communication to getting your game plan together, quizzing your players on the weekly installs, everything, even inventory. So this program has everything all in one place on one dashboard. It's easy to use. It's on the desktop and on your phone. It's designed by football coaches so they know what they needed to put into it. It's growing fast in the southeastern states, but it's brand new. So in Texas, we haven't got on board yet. So we need to take advantage of it while you can. Go to spiralxo.com. It'll save you a lot of time. Tell them I sent you, and you'll get 10% off. Okay, so do you find that when you do have an opening, does the reputation that y'all have here make it where you get a few more resumes maybe than some might?
We very rarely post a job.
It's literally that's
true. I mean, we very rarely post a job. I had my head baseball coach. His son goes to Lorena High School, and he's been a football coach for us too. And he told me the other day, he said, "Coach, I can't do it anymore. I need to be there to watch my kid play." And I said, I completely understand. And we had an opportunity for him to transfer out of a subject he was teaching and into a self-contained sped role where he didn't lose much money because it has a stipend attached to it as well. And so we lost him. And so my offensive line coach has been with us since probably 18. His wife got the lead principal at China Spring Elementary School. And she wasn't going to take the job unless he decided he didn't want to coach anymore because she felt like there was no way that she could be the head principal and he could be a coach and them function with 2 young kids. And so he came in and talked to me, and he got out. He's going to go be the ag teacher at China Spring Junior High. And so we had 2 spots open, and we hired a kid that I coached in Gatesville that had been coaching at West Orange Stark and was ready to get back this area. I knew he was ready to get back this area. So as soon as I had a job open, I called him. He said, "Yeah, I want the job." And so we hired him. And then we hired a guy that used to be the head coach at Itasca that spent last year at Harker Heights. And we knew him and knew he was looking for a job. He's an offensive line guy. And so we hired him. We didn't post either job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Word of mouth and people you know.
Well, That makes my next question hard, because my next question was, what are you wanting to hear from someone that you are interviewing to hire, but you don't have to interview?
I mean, once again, if I'm interviewing you, I want to know if you love kids. I want to know that the priority for you is not winning, but the priority for you is taking care of our kids. And this is a low socioeconomic area. Kids struggle. Kids work on Saturday and Sunday. So, we don't make film session on Saturday mandatory. And some people can live with that. Some people can't live with that. But if you're doing what's best for the kids in your program, you got to understand that it's not always black and white. There's got to be some gray area in there in order for your kids to understand that you really care about them first and foremost, and that their struggles, that you embrace their struggles and understand their struggles, and do whatever you can to help them along the way with their struggles. And so if I'm interviewing a coach and that coach comes across as someone who's more concerned with themselves or more concerned with the outcome of a football game rather than the outcome of a kid, I'm not interested. I want to know. We can teach you everything you need to know about football. I want to know if you're kid friendly, if you care about kids, and you're willing to do whatever you can to help a kid be successful in life and in football.
Gotcha. No, and I noticed that when I coached in the inner city in Fort Worth there for like 4 years for my older brother. Well, 3 for my older brother and 1 for a buddy of mine, Victor Arguillo. And I noticed that I've never had any more meaningful relationships with my players than in the inner city, where we were low socioeconomic. They needed you for the ride here or there. They needed you occasionally for, hey, meal money for this, or and it just made things that much more personal about everything.
Well, the people, kids have contacted me after they've graduated, or even kids that didn't play any sports that my wife knew that we've helped out over the years, and they've constantly said, "Thank you, Coach. You were a blessing in my life." When the truth is, they blessed us far more than we could ever bless them, and just by their success later on in life, and knowing we played a small part is an enormous blessing for an adult.
Yeah. No, that's what I used to always tell mine. I'm not as concerned with what I'm seeing from you right now as where you are 5 years after you graduate. What are you doing good? Do you have a family? You're taking care of your kids. You're taking care of your wife. You're doing that kind of stuff. So I totally understand where you're coming from there. What now, do you have a favorite question you like to ask coaches that maybe get something out of them in an interview that helps you understand a little about what they're thinking?
Certainly. I ask them point blank. If one of our kids walks in the office and they ain't got money for lunch or ain't got money for groceries, are you willing to give them $20, $30? I ask them that point blank, and after they answer the question, I always tell them, we're going to get you that money back. But I'm telling you right now, if a kid walks in the office and says, "Coach, I ain't got any money for lunch," and one of my coaches ain't willing to give him $5, I'm fixing to get rid of that coach. I'm fixing to find somebody that's willing to give up $5 so a kid can eat.
Yeah.
And take care of that, which goes back to what I said earlier. Take care of our kids. These kids need somebody they can rely on. These kids need somebody they can trust. And once our kids know that they can trust you, they'll run through a wall for you. They'll do anything in the world for you. They'll let you coach them as hard as you can coach, and let you be as demanding as you want to be. But if you don't, and they'll see right through you. If you're not genuine in your care for them, they'll see right through you. And they're going to pick you apart. I'm just telling you. But at the same time, if they know you genuinely care about their future and what they're trying to accomplish in life and in athletics, they're going to do everything you ask of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. What now? Hey, are y'all able to do something here like I know several schools do, where if they come up and they have the workouts, that you are able to have like some little meal things for them or something?
We've got a fabulous child nutrition program here. And so we work out from 10 to 12, usually 10 to 12:30 actually, and with the skills part involved. And at 12:15, they're going to roll in here and they're going to bring 60 hot meals in here and set them up in the field house, and any kid that wants to eat can eat. They don't have to find no place to go. They're going to deliver them right here in this field house. And it's going to be, we got a set schedule because our kids won't eat everything. They eat certain things. So we're going to have hamburgers one day, chicken sandwich one day, meatball subs one day, and some other hot deal, maybe quesadilla or something like that, soft tacos. And our people do a great job of making sure we take care of our kids.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. That's what we used to do. We didn't have much money where we were at the school that we were at in Fort Worth, and I think it was at Diamond Hills where we used to do it. And we would just make peanut butter sandwiches, and
we've done that for a long time before we did this.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the Vega ISD, we have 3 separate sites set up in Belmead, Texas, throughout the summer, and we provide. And it doesn't matter who you are. We provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 3 different sites all throughout this community for anybody that pulls up and wants to eat.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty neat. It's a great. Once again, that was a vision of our superintendent, and it's something we do every single day.
Well, that is awesome.
The whole summer.
How did I not know how great La Vega was before I came?
It's a great place, I'm telling you. People make places great. Yeah. It's not the place that's great. It's the people that work here that make it great. And once again, Dr. Shields, Coach Williams, our athletic director, Miss White, our assistant superintendent of finance, Mr. Todd Gooden, who just retired, was our deputy assistant superintendent, who's now retired and works half-time for our facilities program. Just wonderful people that care about kids and care about adults who impact kids' lives.
Yeah. Well, tell me what's you got all this construction stuff going on, so obviously there's a decent amount of tax base. What's the business or industry that the
we
tax
have a lot
base
of
is
industry
from?
tax base, but I mean all this is bond stuff. We passed a bond about 3 years ago for $97 million. We've got an early college high school being built right here behind the campus. So at La Vega High School, if you want to be a part of the early college high school, you got to qualify academically. So you can either go to TSTC or you can go to MCC at no charge. La Vega ISD pays all of it. And so you can get 60 hours. You can graduate from TSTC or MCC the same time you graduate from high school here at no charge whatsoever to you or your family whatsoever. It's fully paid for by La Vega. And so we've been sending kids to MCC campus and to TSTC campus with this bond money. We're building a $38 million early college high school campus back here where we're going to bring MCC professors and TSTC professors in here to teach our kids here on campus.
Dang, that's cool.
Pretty good.
God, yeah. A lot of my kids from Clifton, I remember, would come over to TSTC after they graduated. I knew that was a big one in MCC. A few of them at MCC, but most of them were, I think, TSTC.
I think we had out of a graduating class of about 185, 190. I think we had 37 that also graduated from MCC the day before.
God, that's a great start.
Great start.
God.
Coaches, quick question. What if you could take everything that matters in your program, effort, discipline, attendance, strength and speed gains, and actually put a number on it? Not just stats, but who your guys really are every single day. What type of athlete, student, teammate, and even person they are. That's what we're building with Arena OVR 99. It launches May 1st. It's going to let you track not just performance, but accountability, competition, and real development across your team. But if you want something you can use right now, go to my website, CoachRandyJackson.com, and not only will you find information about Arena OVR, but you'll also see a curriculum for Arena captains and Arena team, anything that will help grow your program, plug and play leadership, and it's all at CoachRandyJackson.com.
Okay, so, all right, well, let's move on to the rapid-fire questions.
Okay.
And they're really not rapid-fire, but they're quicker. What's the most unusual situation you've encountered as a coach?
Ooh, there's a bunch of them.
All right, list a few then.
Head coach, Coach Williams, his son, our quarterback, we show up in line passes one time, and he don't have his football helmet. That's one. You can imagine how we tried to keep it from Coach Williams, but it leaked to him, and he wasn't very happy. We're playing in 2007, I believe, 2008 in Corsicana High School, and this before you had the war box and all that stuff. Now you got look up and all the offense coaches are talking, and starting running back forgot his cleats, so had to get some cleats from another person. Just a myriad of situations here that make you laugh and smile. You know, people say all the time, Coach, you should write a book, because there's stories here that are absolutely phenomenal. I won't get into all those stories, but we've encountered. I'll give you probably the most unusual situation we've ever encountered. 2024, we're scheduled to play Carthage at AT&T Stadium for the state championship at 11 o'clock. We charter a bus to go up there the night before. We chartered out of Durham Transportation. She's supposed to be there. We're supposed to be driving under the tunnel at 8:30 in the morning to get to AT&T by the UIL. They give you a certain time. So we're staying at a hotel up there. A little bus driver had driven us the whole playoff season. She's supposed to be reporting back at 7:50 to pick us up, and we can't get a hold of her. Now, mind you, all of our football equipment's underneath this charter bus: uniforms, pads, helmet, everything. She don't show up to pick us up till 9:40 at the hotel. We got every kid, every coach in the hotel lobby been there since 7:50 that morning, waiting to get to the stadium, and she don't pick us up till 9:40. So what once would have been an easy time and advantageous warm up and getting everything we need to get accomplished, we got to press speed. We got to press fast forward and get rolling. And so, it was certainly unusual, and at the same time, my coach, my guy who kind of runs all that stores, he's a nervous wreck because he thinks I'm going to be out of this world angry. And at that point, what could I do? I could run around mad, and I could run around screaming, and it would impact our whole team.
Everybody would be there.
Or I can just act like it's not a big deal, and we're just going to do the best we can. And that's the approach I took because I didn't want it to affect the kids. Even though I'm boiling inside, we just took the approach that, hey, part of being to Vega, let's go. We're going to do the best we can.
Yeah.
And so we did.
Did you ever figure out what happened to her?
I think she went to club night for him. We didn't wake up in time. I think that was the last count we got. I think it was ladies' night at the club, and she apologized profusely. But once again, she'd been a great bus driver the whole time, and we didn't hold it against her too much.
I got you. Okay, what's your favorite pass route?
Favorite pass route is probably some kind of shallow cross scheme that puts you in a bind. That or some kind of corner dig flat concept that opens up an inside hole. I like both those concepts really well.
I like the corner dig flat. We ran one that was pretty much like that. It was more of a sail route probably from our third guy. But
I think that's actually what we call it.
Yeah.
We call it a sail concept. I don't know what they call it. I'm a defensive guy. I spend as little time on
I forgot you are.
I spend as little time on offense as I have to.
Yeah. Now, do you still call the defense?
We kind of group effort. I've got a defense coordinator who does a fabulous job, Eric Balch. They're always concerned about calling something because they're scared that I spent so long as defense coordinator that I'm not going to like it. And so we kind of put it together to get together, and he kind of gives me ideas, and I kind of throw something in there when I want to. But it's a group effort.
Yeah. Okay. What favorite run play?
Power.
Oh yeah.
Love power.
Is that your least favorite to defend for a team that runs it well?
If you run power and power read and all that, then it gets complex,
Yeah.
And so, we're going to take what you do best and try to eliminate it and make you do something different. Sometimes it works to our advantage, sometimes it don't. But we're going to try to make you run the ball east and west, not north and south.
Yeah. Now, I coached for one guy, Mark Kehoe, a long time ago. I was a first-year coach, and he was a defensive coordinator at Azle, and that was about the only place I ever was where his concept was we're going to spill everything and make you run because we were fast.
Sure.
And so he said we're going to run them sideways and we're going to run them down because we're fast. Now, it helped that we had a D1 free safety too, that went and played for the Giants, that could go inside out pass.
Well, the problem you run into is everybody knows you do that. And so we spend an enormous amount of time with our perimeter players who actually are part of the spill process of not giving up one for one. In other words, if you're running power and that running back comes to kick me, I don't want you to just get inside the block and take up space. I want you to get inside the block and then get back up the field and try to knock off the second puller.
Oh, yeah.
So we're never – I tell our guys all the time, we're never going to spill one for one. If we're spilling one for one, we're losing.
Yeah.
We're trying to get 2 for 1. The purpose of spilling is 2 for 1. It's not 1 for 1, it's 2 for 1. And because if not, what happens is they just log you and the puller comes around and blocks the guy you got replacing the spill.
Yeah.
And there's no point in it. So we spend an enormous amount of time trying to get 2 for 1 on any kind of concept like that.
Okay. No, I like that.
So if you don't pick the puller off, if you get under and you don't pick the puller off, you ought to make the Zach-gun play.
Yeah. No.
If we're playing 2 for 1 football.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. Do you have a hair policy with your kids?
We do not have a hair policy. I go with whatever policy the school has. I spent I spent 14 years as defense coordinator here. Coach Williams' policy was, even though we allowed kids to wear earrings in the school, I used to stand at the door and say, "Take your earrings out, take your earrings out, take your earrings out." That was Coach Williams' policy. Finally, one time I come in, I went in his office and I said, "Coach, why do we have this earring policy?" He said, "We just always had it." And I said, "Yeah, but you're not the one standing out here telling everybody to take their earrings off every day." I said, "That's me.
You're the bad guy."
I said, I'm the one guy to tell them every day to take their earrings out." And he said, "You care if they wear earrings?" I said, It's not going to affect what they do. It's not going to affect how they lift weights. It's not going to affect how they play in a football helmet. And if it's a school policy, why do we have that policy?" He said, "I don't know. I've just always had that policy." He said, "If you don't want to, get rid of it." And so the next day I told him, leave your earrings in, let's go to work. And so, once again, 1993, there was a hair policy. There was an earring policy. All that stuff was in there. But once again, that's the part of evolving. If you're not evolving as a coach and as a person and as a leader, you're probably falling behind, and people ain't going to follow you anyway. And so, what does it matter if a kid's hair is long? Does it matter? Does it really affect anything?
Yeah.
It doesn't affect anything. I mean, I tell our kids, if they got long hair and they got braids and stuff like that, I tell them, don't come complaining if they tackle you with your hair. That's part of the process. That's part of you being out there. What we're concerned with is how you act.
Yeah.
And I don't believe wearing an earring determines how you act. I don't believe having long hair determines how you act. I believe how you act is based on the choices you make. And we got one rule around here. We're not going to embarrass the lady that signs the checks. We're not going to embarrass the lady who gives us everything we need to be successful. And I tell them all the time, I don't care if you embarrass me, but I don't sign the checks. The lady that signs the checks, this place is Dr. Sharon Shields, and we're not going to embarrass her because she works as hard as anybody to make sure we're successful. And we're going to do everything we can to make her look as good as we possibly can in every situation we're encountering.
Oh, I like that. All right. Heads or tails on the coin
Tails
flip?
Always.
Tails never fails?
Tails always. And I think I won one flip last year.
I was going to ask how many.
I call tails every time. Just do it, and been fortunate in some instances and not very fortunate in other instances. Playoffs now, we all get on there, and I've gone away from the zip code deal because I believe somebody's built a system that with all the AI and all that, it can give them even or odd right quick. Right. And so we FaceTime. I got a big old coin that heads and tails, or I write heads and tails on the coin. We flip it and I watch it hit the floor and all that stuff. Now I'm getting away from that zip code deal. I believe somebody's because I didn't win it. I think in 2025, I lost every zip code flip there was. And so I just said, you know what, I'm getting away from this. I believe somebody's built in because ultimately, you shouldn't be able to do it if you're doing it right. If I say Clifton and you say odd or even immediately, you ain't got time for that. But now you say Clifton and people are like even. Yeah. Well, that gives you time to do stuff like that. And so.
You're right.
You can't affect the coin. The coin's going to hit the floor and land one way or the other, and it's probably the fairest way to do it.
Yeah, no, that's true. What now? Being a defensive guy, do you like to defer if you win the toss?
Absolutely. We try to defer as much as possible, unless you're just really good offensively. I mean, if you're unbelievable offensively and mediocre defensively, we're probably going to take the ball. If you're unbelievable offensively and we defer, we're probably going to kick it onside. I mean, they're just I just prefer to have the ball coming out of the second half. Yeah. I believe most head coaches think that way. I believe that people call it the middle eight are probably some of the most important times you're going to have. I mean, so we like to have the ball coming out the second half and try to get something positive going or increase the lead or get some points back off the lead. And I just think that's probably too important to give up.
Now, what do you run defensively?
We're multiple. We basically have an even front, but we will jump in some 3-man front. And we've been doing the same thing for years. Basically, what we do is I got it from Buddy Ryan when he was at the Chicago Bears. He called it AFC, defense automatic front coverage. So linebackers called the front, secondary called the coverage. So we call it check here. We're not very complex, and so when we call check, that's our base defense that we're going to use on mixed downs. And our linebackers set the front, and our safety set the coverage. And we just play it. And when we're really good, we probably run it 85% of the time. When we're not, we run it maybe 50% of the time. Now, instant replays change some of that because now what took them half to figure out, or they didn't figure out till Saturday morning what you was trying to do to them. Now they got it on the second series, and so we've had to start calling more stuff because of people being able to identify what you're doing quicker in the game.
How have you liked having all the video stuff now?
From an offensive standpoint, I love it. From a defensive standpoint, I think it hurts what you try to do to somebody else. But at the same time, there's been times where we've come in at halftime as a defensive staff and noticed one key element and fixed it and been successful because of it. So, I mean, I think what it's done is it's required you to put your best coaches in the press box so that they can watch that video and give you feedback. We're used to you put your best coaches on the sideline and, somebody watch this and somebody watch that and somebody watch this. Now I think you got to have your best coach in the press box. I wish I could see it up there. I wish I could go back and replay stuff, but I don't think it looked very good for the head coach sitting in the press box. And so, but, I mean, we've got good quality guys up there, and we probably got 3 offensive guys that sit up there and 3 defensive guys sit up there. All of them got their own iPad, and they're flipping through tight, wide, end zone every play. And so I think it's good for football. I think it's the only fair way to do it, to be honest with you, to let everybody have that option. I'm a big advocate for instant replay in high school. I believe too many times people lose a game because of a bad call. And I think if you're going to put your livelihood on the line every Friday night and you're going to work 90 hours to prepare to play a game on Friday night, that you ought to have every avenue possible to make sure the game is played and officiated as fair as possible.
Yeah.
And I believe we owe that to the kids. And so I know that's difficult. I'm a big proponent of the same things they have in college. If the offense coordinator can talk to the quarterback through a speaker in his helmet, I think we should be doing the same thing. If the defense coordinator can talk to the linebacker, I think we should be doing the same thing. We have this wearable technology now, and you wear an Apple Watch on the field, and somebody up there. Nobody does that in college. Nobody does that in the pros. Why are we doing that? I don't understand that. I mean, our job should be getting kids ready to play at the next level. Then let's get them to play at the next level the way it's supposed to be played at the next level. Let's don't give them some bull crap Apple Watch. You ever seen an Apple Watch on Saturday? College football? You're not going to see it. I'm just telling you. And you're not going to see it in the pros either. And so I just think we ought to be doing things that get kids ready to play the game the way it ought to be played in the future.
Yeah. Now, do you still have a lot of the coaches? I mean, because you have a pretty good level of talent here, fairly consistently. You still have a lot of the college coaches coming by to talk, and it's not all portal stuff now.
No, we have a lot of guys come by. My job as assistant athletic director is outside of football season is paperwork and making sure transportation is set up for everybody, and making sure officials are set up for everybody, making sure meals are set up for everybody, making sure van transportation or bus transportation or whatever's out there. So I've got a guy that's been with me. He probably came in 2008, been with me ever since, and he's my recruiting coordinator. So he visits with all those guys. I'll leave the office and shake their hand, talk to them for a second or two. If I know them from the past, I'll talk to them a little longer than that. But he does an unbelievable job recruiting in the recruiting realm, and he meets with all of them.
Okay.
And he does a great job for us and for our kids.
Well, good. So I'm just glad to hear they still come by, because I know so many of them rely on nothing but portal. That
they come by. If you got a really good one, they buy a little more than than if you don't have a really good one. I mean, that's common sense.
Yeah.
You can't hold it against people like that. If we've got a really good football player, they're going to be by quite often. If you don't, sparse. And that's just common sense. Now, if you're at Duncanville, they're probably there on a daily basis. We probably have maybe 5 a week come through and visit, and we enjoy it.
Yeah, it's good to keep those relationships.
Sure, no doubt.
Okay, do you give a pregame speech?
I'm a pretty run-of-the-mill guy. I'm not a big rah-rah guy. I usually talk to our kids about blocking, tackling, and taking care of the football. That's what I call the 3 components of being successful football. If you got whoever blocks the best, tackles the best, and takes care of the ball the best, usually wins. And so I usually give that speech a little bit, and then I've got Coach Lewis, who's been here the whole time I've been here, and he's always got a good one brewing. And so when I get through, I say, "Be Lou," and he jumps in there and he gets our kids going, and he does a fabulous job with it.
So he's a rah-rah guy. Huh?
He does a fabulous job with pregame speeches. I mean, even the state championship, they asked me, Coach, you mind if we come in and film you with pregame speech? I said, you're not going to film me. You're more than welcome. But I'm not going to be up there talking about, rah, rah, rah. I don't do all that. But I've got, that's why you hire younger people, you know, and so they can do all that stuff. You get my age, you don't have much of that left in you anymore. And so I'm more of a nuts and bolts type guy that gives them the information they have to have, and he's our guy that gives them the information they need to get going.
Oh, cool. Okay, do you have a favorite quote you like to use with the kids?
That's a good question.
I see you got the word work all up.
That's our slogan. Mike Cadell brought that with us, and when he came over around 2016, and
Cadell.
Mike Cadell used to be at Axtell.
Yeah, I know Cadell. I hadn't seen him in forever.
He brought in work, win, win, win. So that's how we break it out a lot of times. But I mean, as far as quotes go, I'm more of a one-liner guy. I'm more of a guy that shoots from the hip than has a set quote. My kids will think that if I had a quote to say, it would be block, tackle, and take care of the ball. I'm just telling you that they're going to hear that all the time. And I got one from Leroy Coleman. We say it quite a bit. Do it wrong, do it long, do it short. I mean, do it right, do it light.
Yeah.
In other words, hey, we're going to practice till we get it the right way. And if you're doing it right, then we ain't going to practice that long. We're going to have a 2-hour workout schedule. But if everything goes according to plan, we may be over an hour and 45 minutes. So I tell our kids all the time, you want to get out of there quick, do it right. Do it with effort. Do it the way it's supposed to be done. And there's no rule that says just because we got 12 periods, we got to go 12 periods. We're going to go until we get it done. And there's the flip side of that. You do it wrong, we're going to do it long. That 12 periods may turn to 16. Yeah. But we're going to get what we come out here to get accomplished. How long it takes us depends on you as the kid. Yeah. It don't depend on me as a coach. It depends on you as a kid. That segment timer is just a segment timer. At any time, it can be start and reset, or at any time, we can move on. That's your code. That's your choice.
Yeah. No, that's good. Music in the weight room?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Music at practice, music in the weight room. This is a different generation now.
Yeah.
I've learned some good songs over the years because of that. These kids love music, and hey, we get out there and dance a little bit with them and have a good time. And, of course, their music's different than my music. And every once in a while they'll say, Coach, throw some country music on. I'm a country western guy. And so, but to be honest with you, when I'm in my truck, I don't even turn the radio on. My wife hates riding with me. She's a music person, loves to sing and all that stuff. And I'll get in the car and we'll drive to New Orleans, and I'll never turn the radio on.
Oh, God.
I mean, if I could get in the car, every morning I'd drive all the way to work in silence, and I'd drive all the way home at night in silence. I got a little legal pad I keep on my console in my truck, and I jot down notes and think, and I just don't listen to music very much.
Oh, okay. What do you have any varsity players in the band do you let them march at halftime?
That's up to them. Once again, I believe that's, if I wasn't a very smart coach and I got a really great athlete that loves the band, and he says, Coach, I want to march at halftime. I say, no, you're not marching at halftime. And he quits football and goes straight band. That kind of goes against me, you know. And so, I mean, I'm going to let the kids decide that. I'm not going to be one way or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, if the kid wants to march at halftime with the band, get out there and march at halftime. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I want you to get in there quick with us so we can get everything done we want to get done. But if that's your cup of tea, then pour it however you want to.
Yeah. All right. What are your favorite 3 lifts in the weight room?
Front squat, power clean, queen, and what we call thrusters, which ain't nothing more than hang clean, front squat, push press is all it is. So those are my 3. If you told me I had to be able to do, if you said, Coach, take one lift and that's all you can do, we're going to do power clean also. I think it's the most inclusive lift out there that incorporates every part of your body that you can incorporate.
So you like the full power clean from the floor?
We do it both ways, depending on the weight limit. If we're doing heavy weight, low reps, we're going to do it from the floor. If we're doing lighter weight and more reps, we're going to do hang clean.
Okay. All right, good. All right. Do you have a favorite agility exercise?
Whatever gets them tired. There's so many agility exercises out there now. I believe that you got to, I don't think you can do the same agility exercise with offensive linemen that you do with defensive backs. I don't believe you do the same agility level with running backs as you do with linebackers. I believe it all has to be position specific, and so, and even though there's 150 different drills out there for agilities, I tell our coaches, find a drill that works for your position. If we don't have it, make one up. Figure out what you got to get done with your position to make your kids as good as you can possibly be, and then get good at it. And so, our big boys, we do a lot of toe boards. I got it from Mike Morgan at Gatesville, who actually I think got it from Kiff Harden when he was at Gatesville. We got 2x4s that we basically nail together like running ropes that are really good for offensive linemen. They're really good for defensive linemen. They're no good for linebackers and running backs and stuff like that because you're not taking the same steps. Any position you're emphasizing 6-inch steps and power steps, which nobody takes a 6-inch step on Friday night.
Yeah.
But if we can harp on 6-inch steps and they take a 12-inch step, then maybe we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And so we do a lot of toe boards with our bigger guys. We do a lot of bag and agile work with our running backs and linebackers, and we do a whole lot of cone L drills, stuff like that, change direction with our secondary and linebackers. Secondary and receivers. And so, whatever's conducive to how we want to be, how good you can be at your position, that's what I like.
Yeah. No, gotcha. Are you a conspiracy theory person?
Oh man, I don't know. I just I try to pay as little attention to all that stuff as I can.
You stay focused on the real world and what's in front of you.
Well, I mean, you get into politics and what people believe and how people think, and I mean that's just that's a fantasy world in my opinion. I don't like either political party. I'll tell you that. I think they're both terrible. I think at the end of the day, they're both self-serving. They're not worried about the common everyday person like you and I.
Yeah.
I think the more I try to worry about all that, happiness ain't ever gonna find me.
Yeah.
I got to be happy in what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to get accomplished in life, and understand that success is only made by you as the individual. I mean, you're going to be successful as your work ethic dictates you be successful. And so, I try to stay away from all that stuff as much as possible. It makes my life a whole lot better.
Yeah.
I know people that watch Fox News all the time, and I know people that watch CNN all the time. And if you're believing everything those people are telling you, you can't be happy in life. I'm just telling you.
No, you're right. You're right. It's gotten from, I grew up watching Magnum PI and Simon & Simon,
Sure.
To
Sure.
now it's like everything is politics. Everything.
Well, I mean, that's
when
I was a kid, you didn't even worry about politics because it wasn't broadcast out there around the clock 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
To me, politics now is nothing. Is basically Young and the Restless and All My Children. That's basically what it is nowadays. It's politics, and it's just basically replace the soap operas. Because here's the deal: those guys get up there and criticize each other and talk about each other and all that. And when the camera shuts off, they go to lunch together.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, there's no way you can sit up there and let somebody talk to you like that in one of them congressional committee meetings or whatever. At some point, I'd slap the table and say, "You and me fixing to go outside." But they don't do that, and the reason they don't do that is they know it's all a show.
What was that guy a couple of years ago that old MMA guy that's in there took his ring off, said, "Let's go."
Yeah. Truth is, that guy didn't want no part of going outside. He was putting on theater too. I mean, it's all theater. But at some point, an everyday individual is going to say, "I'm about done listening to that."
Yeah.
And me and you going to have a talk somewhere else, but where nobody else is around, ain't no cameras around, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. But you never see that because they all know it's a charade. They all know it's a ploy. At the end of the day, they're up there to line their pockets. I believe firmly.
Yeah.
And I don't believe there's any way. I don't care which party you're from. You can't. There's no way you spend $4 million of your own money to get a job that pays $174,000 a year, unless you're getting more than that somewhere along the way. And so,
well, who was it? They were talking about some of them the other day that have outperformed in the stock market all the major stock investors, and I'm like, we need to find out what they're buying and just buy the same thing.
That's no different than me saying, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I can to make the head football coach position the most important position on this campus and the most well-paid position on this campus and the only position that matters. When I know I am nothing without my kids and my assistant coaches. They're nothing without us voters.
Yeah.
But they don't care about us voters. I'm just telling you, they got the money. The money's all that matters up there.
I don't know why we can't get term limits. I think that would solve them Huge part of those
the people that got to vote for term limits are the ones up there in the office. They don't want.
Why can't
they don't
we
want
do
term
it?
limits.
I wish there was a way we could just put it on the major national ballot, and here we go.
Once again, I done got my blood pressure up, and I don't even pay no attention to that. That's why I don't pay any attention.
Well, let's go on to the next question then. What do you listen to podcasts at all, or do you not listen to radio at all?
I mean, occasionally, my wife, when we're on the road, my wife may she may throw a podcast on or something. So, but basically, I don't listen to radio. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
You know?
I've gotten, after talking to the Bernie coach, he got me hooked on a couple like history podcasts that I like listening to because it gets into some of the, one of them was like Sitting Bull. There was a big, like a 3-part deal, long, like took 4 hours, I think.
Sure.
You know, and so I like some of the history stuff, and it does make long trips.
I like history and crime. That's about what I like. You know, I like my wife. My wife will tell you that I'm not going to watch anything sci-fi. I just don't. If I don't believe it could happen, I don't watch it.
Yeah.
I like factual stuff that I think could actually happen in life, or that has already happened in life.
My sister-in-law has a big true crime podcast. Her and my little brother live out in L.A., and she has a big true crime one. And she actually just signed a deal with Netflix, and I think it's supposed to start maybe in the fall on Netflix. But she does her other big one, and I listen to hers all the time. You know, just because it's missing stories or this and that. That's sometimes kind of interesting, and it keeps my daughter on her toes because my daughter listens to it all, and she's like, "Okay, Dad, I'm not going into the woods again by myself. I'm not okay. Good, that's good.
No doubt, no doubt."
Okay, if you could change one rule in football, what would it be?
Probably roughing the passer. I think we've gone overboard with it. If it's not roughing the passer, it's targeting.
Yeah.
I certainly want to keep kids healthy, and I want to keep kids safe. But I think we've just gone too far with it. I mean, it's for an old defensive coach like me, everything's moved to protect or advantage the offense, and I'm just not a big fan of that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, what would you do if you weren't a coach?
You know, I was when I graduated high school and went to college, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I wanted to be. Believe it or not, I thought about getting into law and becoming a politician. Believe it or not, but when I graduated after my bachelor's, around the time I was going to go into my senior year in college, I went and met with my what do they call them, advisor or whatever, and she said, "Now, when law school, you got to apply for law school." And I said, "How much longer do I got to go to school if I'm going to become a lawyer?" She said, "About 3.5, 4 more years." And I said, "Oh no, I'm out. Can't do it. Can't do it." And she said, "Well, what else you want to do?" And I'll sit there and hem-haw around. And she said, "What do you really love?" And truly, I love competing, and truly, I love being around people, and I love the athletic realm that's associated with high school sports. And I had a good coach in high school, Paul Hurst, who taught us to do it right and taught us to do it hard and fast and in a hurry. And I said, you know what, I'm going to be a coach. And so I had plenty of hours in history and social studies and all that, and so political science. And so I became a coach and a social studies teacher at the high school, and hadn't looked back since.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Do you have a pro or a college coach or somebody you look up to or kind of model some things after or have gotten some good stuff from?
I believe you should always be trying to find good stuff and new stuff. We got a whole bunch of stuff that we do from, I believe his name used to be at Pitt, was the Michigan State defense coordinator, Narducci or something like that, Nardusky, or I can't remember his name exactly, but we got a lot of stuff defensively from him. And then I believe you better be picking from everybody. Sarkisian does a great job at Texas. Of course, Saban did an unbelievable job at Alabama. Kirby Smart does a really good job at Georgia. Art Briles did a heck of a job at Baylor that we got a lot of stuff from back in the day. And
I need to go out to Eastern I still want to get an interview with him out at Eastern New Mexico, since he's not too far away, right now again. But
fabulous guy, fabulous coach. All I'll tell you. All I'll say on that end. And there's just those. Anybody that's successful does great things, but you also have to understand at our level, there's a lot of stuff they do that we can't do because we don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
And so I believe you better find, if I go to a clinic and hear or talk to a college coach or whatever, I'm just looking for a little bit of maybe a drill, maybe a little bit of terminology, maybe a little bit of a concept that we can possibly use that fits into what we already do. Because I can draw up every zone blitz in America, but I don't have time to work on every zone blitz in America.
Yeah.
I don't have time to work on the run fits that are involved in high school football versus, if you're going, you go watch Alabama or Georgia, them guys play, those people are throwing it 45 times a game now. Out of 75 snaps, they're throwing it over 50% of the time. Well, you better spend a whole lot of time rushing the passer and defending the passing game. At our level, you're not going to play many people that are going to throw it more times than they're going to run it.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of adjust everything they're doing to fit what you got to have. Because in high school football, if you can't run the football and you can't stop the run, you ain't fixing to win many games. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
If you can't run the football and stop the run, you're not winning many games. And so what we do has to be a little different than what they do. And but at the same time, you kind of model some of the stuff you talk about and kind of some of the program stuff to mimic some of those guys. Saban would be a great example of that.
Okay. Who's the most motivating coach you've ever heard speak?
Ooh.
That kind of just really lit that fire when you.
Ooh, that's a really good question. Probably Jimmy Valvano from NC State when he was a basketball coach there. Just had a way of getting things across.
Yeah.
Had a way of being inspiring, and just being able to get kids to do beyond what they were capable of doing.
Yeah.
And just from a motivational standpoint. And sometimes that's your job. Sometimes it's your job to hire great X and O people, and you be the motivator. And I'm not saying he wasn't great at basketball X's and O's. He probably was, but he had a way to inspire people to do more than what they possibly thought they could do.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a favorite pregame song you like to hear over the radio when you're? Nah, you're not a music guy.
I'm not a music guy. A lot of guys got them earbuds in and all that stuff, and they're kind of dancing around and jiggling around. I'm just over sitting by myself in the corner trying to get some silence.
When I'm out on the field, there's certain things I always like to hear, when we're just going through our pregame or whatever. And, you hear that occasionally, Phil Collins coming in the air tonight.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good, kind of thing. But, yeah, I didn't ever have earphones in the locker room or anything either.
I don't even own a set.
Yeah. So. If I did, it'd be those old ones like we used to use
Sure,
back in the day, the old little.
I don't know why I have this iPhone. I think to check emails, because that's about all I do with it. My wife gives me a hard time. She says, I don't know why you got that fancy phone. You don't do anything with it but check emails.
Do you have a favorite sports movie?
I watched a really good one a while back. And actually, I took our kids to see it in 2015. Facing the Giants, maybe? Some football-related movie.
Facing the Giants was a good one. Was it the one where they had the death crawl, where he crawling a bear crawl with the guy on his back?
I think so. And then another one came out around that time period, too. Maybe it wasn't Facing the Giants. Maybe it was the one where the coach in California had a heart attack, and the iconic coach of LaSalle, I believe, that had a heart attack or whatever, and his other guys took over, and he come back, and, basically, I love all sports movies. Remember the Titans is a great movie.
Yeah. But you like the ones that are more true story based.
I like that. My wife gives me a hard time because I like the movie 13 Days about the Cuban Missile Crisis. I like All the President's Men about the Watergate scandal. I like
well, it's because you're a social studies guy.
Candidate.
Yeah.
I like the Manchurian Candidate. That was my dad's favorite movie, and I like those movies. And I love the Michael Jordan documentary thing that went on for.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the name of it, but man, what a competitor, what a player, what a person.
Yeah.
He was the essence of what you got to have as a leader on a team in order to be successful. And he didn't put up with anything but your best. And so if we could get every kid in our team to live by that motto and those standards, man, you'd be on to something.
Yeah.
What a guy, what a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah. No, you're right. I've got his book. Watched that documentary. I've done all that stuff. I was a big Jordan fan. What do you have a favorite movie quote or anything that you?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't really say. I like the movie. I like comedy-wise, one of my favorite movies is Step Brothers, and so I tell our kids all the time, boats and hoes is what I say all the time. So I mean, that's I'm liable to throw that out there at any time. Matter of fact, one of my coaches who played for me actually brought me a shirt that has those guys' pictures on it that says boats and hoes. He gave it to me. So I mean, I say that all the time to our kids.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, Coach, that is all the questions I got for you. Anything you'd like to add about what you got going on here at La Vega?
No, I just anytime somebody is willing to come out and talk to us about stuff like this, and who's willing to spend their time on a daily basis promoting high school football, and promoting schools, and promoting coaching staffs, man, we can't say enough about you, and we certainly thank you for what you do to high school football and keeping us relevant on a daily basis, and we're just very appreciative of that.
Well, hey, I appreciate that comment. There's nothing better out there, and there's nothing better than having that opportunity to shape young men and turn them into, good, productive young men and members of our communities and stuff. And you just can't have that influence in any other job, I don't think, than football.
It's been an enormous blessing in my life, and one that I don't take for granted.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you again, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today out here in Waco with Coach Hyde. I hope you enjoyed getting to know a little more about him and his thoughts on our personnel topic today and the other things that we talked about. I'm still working on next week's episode location, but I hope you can join us wherever that is. And thanks again for joining us. And remember, if you're lost in Texas, just look for the lights.
I wear that red and white on a Friday night when my hometown takes the field. I say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, try to be the best man. That's how I feel. No matter where my heart runs, I remember where I came from. Still got that raised up pride, that small town pride, that black, red, white, and